Okay, just let me know if the AV is fine and we can get started. बस यार ये मत पूछना कि INICT कैंसिल होगा नहीं होगा and all that. I have no idea. जितना आपको पता है उतना ही मुझे मालूम है. So we don't know what's going to happen. So let's prepare for the worst, even if the exam is there, which even I believe that I also would advocate कि नहीं होना चाहिए, at least for the people who are living, because for the people who are living close to the border. So I would say it should get postponed, but नहीं भी होता है तो we should be preparing for it. So yeah. और एडमिट कार्ड से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता मानवी बेटा. एडमिट कार्ड आने के बाद क्या नीट कैंसिल नहीं हुआ था एक दिन पहले? पीपल हैव ट्रैवल्ड टू द सेंटर्स एंड स्टिल इट गॉट कैंसिल, सो दैट इज नॉट अ बिग डील. Okay guys, welcome all of you. So let's get started. As you know, these sessions are a little longer, so I think we should not be taking up any time further. Last time we started, I guess we just went with the first two slides and it got stuck. So I will start it again from the beginning itself. The sequence would be that I'll be starting with embryology, followed by I'll be going to the limbs and then head and neck, neuro and abdomen part. And histology slides I kept in between because it gets a little monotonous if you read histology at one go only. So like a couple of slides in between head and neck and neuro, between neuro and abdomen, like that. So that's how we're going to approach it. Needless to say, you people are attending this one-shot session from last 1 week. I'm sure it will be very exhaustive, but I'm very sure that it will be very productive also, because in the shortest span of time, you can cover up almost all the important things. So it's a little unfair to ask this question that is one-shot enough? Well, enough is not enough in itself. But yeah, I mean, you have to, in one shot will at least comprise of all the topics which you cannot leave and go to the exam. You have to go through these. And while formulating this PowerPoint for you, obviously I've kept in mind that what are the recent questions which are being asked and how they can kind of, twist the language of the question. So I'll kind of discuss that about in between. What do you say? During these lectures, it's quite, and during these lectures, it's a little difficult to kind of keep a track of what live chat is going on, because there are too many people message in between. So I'm really sorry if I miss any message in between, but I will tell you the way to communicate to me, so that even after the one shot, we can still stay in touch and I can clarify your doubt. So let's get started. So guys, in the embryology, let's first start with this section of the embryonic plate, which has been asked already twice in the exam last year, and even last year they asked this question. So there are certain questions in anatomy which are very terminal questions. Once they ask that question, that's it, end of it. What is the nerve supply of the following muscle? Once they ask this question is over. Or about any branch of any artery or something like that. But obviously there are certain topics which are not going to end at that point. For example, when you look at this picture, there's so much to ask on this. They have already asked the questions on neural crest cells and paraxial mesoderm, but this image is at least holding like 20 more questions inside. So they can again put this image in front of you, but obviously the question is going to change. So what you're looking at, we're looking at a cross section through the neural tube. What you can see, the three germ layers there: endoderm, ectoderm, and mesoderm. That light green colored structure that you see over there is a notochord. Notochord, if somebody asks you notochord is made up of what? It is made up of mesoderm. But what mesoderm? It's a axial mesoderm. Please listen to me carefully. It's axial mesoderm, not paraxial. Axial. Midline mesoderm thickening is forming the notochord. What notochord is going to do, guys? Notochord is going to stimulate the ectoderm and convert the ectoderm into neuroectoderm. And then the neuroectoderm folds to form the neural tube. As you can see, the neural tube there. And we do have the cells which is present at the junction of the neural tube and ectoderm. These are called as the neural crest cells. Well, which is also called as a fourth germ layer, the neural crest cells. And in the electron microscopic image, you do not expect to see the neural crest cells better than this. Reason being, neural crest cells are derived from the same neuroectoderm only, from the crest of the neural fold itself. So there is no visible difference between them. So what I'm trying to say, that if they ask you the derivative of the neural tube, they will make sure that the arrow is placed on the neural tube. But if the arrow is placed somewhere at the junction of the neural tube, upper part of the neural tube and the ectoderm, then obviously they're asking about the derivative of neural crest cell. I tell you this because when this question was asked a couple of years back in the exam, many people thought they're asking the derivatives of neural tube. Well, why would they do that? Why, if they want to ask the neural crest cells, they will put the arrow at the junction. Otherwise, there's a big neural tube, you can put the arrow anywhere. At the same time, when the neural tube is being formed, this mesoderm is going to divide in three parts. That is the paraxial mesoderm, we have an intermediate mesoderm which is in between, and we got a lateral plate mesoderm, and this lateral plate mesoderm is further going to divide in two parts, that is into the somatopleuric lateral plate mesoderm and splanchnopluric lateral plate mesoderm that I'm going to tell you about here. Just one quick thing in between, guys. How many questions from anatomy? Honestly, nobody can define that. This is very unfair to say that how many questions from that particular topic, because it keeps on changing. It's very dynamic. I would say INICT, that is more concentrating on anatomy, especially the embryology and neuroanatomy part compared to the NEET exam. But guys, I mean, who knows better than you people that you cannot just afford to miss out on any of the subject here. So it is as important as any other subject, and it goes the same for all the 18 subjects. So just don't worry about the number of questions. The point is how many percentage of question I'm going to get right. 10 question आए, 20 question आए, your strike rate should be above 80% in the anatomy. I mean, and because there's no big science behind it, the very these topics are being asked over and over again. People don't realize them because it's the same thing. It's the same thing which they quote in the different in the wrapper and then gave it to you. Otherwise, what could be new in anatomy? It's the same subject which was like 50 years back. The same anatomy is today. So nothing changes. It's just the language of the question is twisted so dramatically. It looks like a new question every time. It's never new. It's always the same thing which is being asked. You just have to be a little smart enough. Okay. So guys, back to the topic. So what I was saying, now look at the intermediate mesoderm first. Now that small part in between is intermediate mesoderm. इसको अगर color से mark नहीं करेंगे तो you don't even realize that it's an intermediate mesoderm, to be honest. So that's why I believe that if they're asking a question on intermediate mesoderm, I'm pretty sure that they're going to highlight it and show it to you, because look at the other side here. Can you identify where is intermediate mesoderm? Well, very difficult, right? Paraaxial mesoderm and lateral plate mesoderm we already saw. It's very easy to identify them here. Now, as you can see that intermediate mesoderm, first of all, the intermediate mesoderm is going to give rise to the urogenital system. Now, I'm going to talk about this urogenital system in a while. But when I say urogenital system, what I'm talking about? I'm talking about gonads like testis and ovary and mesonephric duct and paramesonephric duct. So all the urogenital system, it is heavily contributed by the intermediate mesoderm. So let's keep this intermediate mesoderm aside for now. As I said, it will give rise to genital ducts. It will give rise to the mesonephric, paramesonephric duct, the derivatives. We'll come to it. Forget about it for now. Abhi focus on paraaxial and lateral plate mesoderm. Because if you know the paraaxial mesoderm, you automatically know about the lateral plate mesoderm. The paraaxial mesoderm, it will give rise to the ball-like condensation along the entire length, and those ball-like condensation are called as somites. I'm sure you heard the word somites or somatic. The somites are the ball-like condensation, as you can see in the center, guys. That is, let me just put a laser pointer there. If you look at that, this is the neural tube here in the center. Can you see that? That's a neural tube. It's a cranial neuropore above. That's a caudal neuropore below. That's a neural tube. And on the side of the neural tube, that is a paraaxial mesoderm. And these thickening of the paraaxial mesoderm are called as somites. Even if it's an image-based question, I'm sure you'll be able to identify it like this only. These are called as somites. What are the derivatives of somites? And when you think of derivatives of somites, you also need to keep an eye on what is not derived from somites, because whatever is not derived from somites will be derived from lateral plate mesoderm. So it's very easy. You can compare the paraaxial and lateral plate with each other. Now guys, somites can be dividing into three parts. We have a dermatome, sclerotome, myotome. Zyada sochne ki zarurat nahi hai. The dermatome part of the somite will give rise to dermis, but dermis of only back. Only back dermis is derived from it here. Axial skeleton, that is ribs and vertebrae. Ribs and vertebrae is derived from the somites only, and ribs was one of the question asked in the recent time, guys. Last year question was ribs only, that ribs is derived from which of the following march structure, and that was paraaxial mesoderm or somite is the answer to that. And it will also give rise to the skeletal muscle. But remember guys, when I say skeletal muscle, we are talking about skeletal muscle elsewhere in the body, but majority of the skeletal muscle in head and neck are derived from pharyngeal arches. I'm sure you know this. What is the speciality of the head and neck? Developmentally, the head and neck speciality is that the skeletal muscles like mastication muscle, facial muscle, palate, pharynx, larynx, all these muscles are derived from pharyngeal arches. Only extraocular and tongue muscles, especially tongue muscles, they are derived from somites. But when you think of rest of the body, abhi upper limb muscle, intercostal muscle, abdominal muscle, pelvic muscle, lower limb, koi bhi muscle, all muscles are derived from somites only. So the thing is that if dermis of the back, axial skeleton, and skeletal muscles are derived from the somites, so whatever is left is derived from lateral plate mesoderm.